All right. Hey, everybody. Steve DeLaviaga, Rise Consulting. I am so excited about our premier partner guest, VIP, this event. I've gotten to know Kelly. It was somebody who I did not know in my trappings along the title world for 20 years, but I've been so overly impressed. She is truly somebody that's got it all, runs a big business, runs a big office, beautiful bride, mom of great kids. So she's been very blessed. We're going to talk about how you can have it all and still have a life you want instead of being stressed out all the time and do what they do. And also her passion for the industry is what sets her up as in the state of Arizona. So,
wow, that was a whole lot.
Hey, I'm going to a little bit.
I'm not sure who you think you're interviewing, but I mean, we'll get into it.
Well, so you and I have had a chance now to spend some time together. I love it. So no one graduates at 18 or goes to college and graduates at 22 and goes, Mom and Dad, I'm ready now to go be a loan officer in the lending division. There's no process for that. So walk us through, how did you get into lending? What was the pathway for you?
Well, I fell into it, honestly. So I went to college kind of the roundabout way. It took me a while to get through my bachelor's degree. And on that journey—
Why was that? Were you messing around? Or why? Why was that?
Well, I mean, I went to work full time when I was 18 and I moved to Southern California. And so I was going to school part-time, working full-time, just living life and trying to figure it all out. So it was a little bit different approach than the norm.
Right.
And then I decided that I wanted to be an attorney. So I moved back to Arizona. I missed my family and decided to finish my bachelor's degree at Arizona State. And so while I was doing that, I was bartending at Chili's, a restaurant. And that's kind of how I got myself through college. So I was on a path to go to law school, and I had graduated in December. I was going to start law school in that following September. I was still working at Chili's, and frankly, I'm just an awful restaurant manager. Like, it's just not my thing. Yeah, it's true. So I met somebody who was in the mortgage business, and they said, hey, we're hiring. You should come and interview. You've got, 6 months before you leave. And I was like, okay, well, I don't even know really what a mortgage is, but I'll go talk to them. And so I did. And, it was intriguing. And they thought, wow, you'll be fantastic. And so I said, oh, okay, well, I don't even really know what that means. And Steve, it's really important to know that I come from a very kind of blue collar family. Both of my parents worked on their jobs for 30 plus years. There's zero risk taking. There's zero entrepreneurship in, kind of that makeup and what I was used to. So I went off to, have this interview, and then they called me back for another interview, and they essentially offered me the job and then proceeded to tell me, but you don't get a salary. And so I was like, what? Like, I don't really, what? And
By
like,
work,
you don't really get a salary. So I was like, oh, okay. So my husband's very entrepreneurial. He's had several businesses. So he kind of said, you know what, just try it. You're going to law school in 6 months, just do it and see if you like it, and it'll be something new and different. And so I did. And that was really it. I never turned back. I obviously didn't go to law school. It was such a great kind of combination of my skills and my ability to be, very tactical. Like, I'm a very good technician when it comes to strategy and guidelines and the ands and the ors and the what ifs and all that stuff. But I also care so much about the story, and every single person I talk to has a different footprint. They have a different life. They have different goals. They have a different story. So my ability to kind of walk on both sides of that type of approach really was just a great fit, and I loved it. And so that was 24 years ago.
Unbelievable. So how did the conversation go when you went home and told mom and dad, who were probably telling all their friends, our daughter's going to be a lawyer. She's so smart. She's been arguing since she was 3 years old. This is going to be great. To, hey, I'm doing this kind of commission only job, and I think I'm going to stay in it and not go to law school. How did that go?
Yeah. So, I'm very blessed to have parents that have always supported me no matter, if my decisions were silly or brilliant. So at that point, even if they were cringing inside, they just said, we believe in you and get after it. Go do it. Be the best you can be. And so that was it.
Yeah, good for you. So you knew in 6 months that this was a career you wanted, to forego law school and all that, because you knew like this had, which is funny, right? I think real estate is either in your blood or it's not, right? Either no one ever goes, it's okay. Either you're in it and you absolutely love it, or it's not for you, right? Yeah. So what skills prepared you, which you look back now, growing up in your life, that allowed you to be so successful in this thing? Was it, maybe a sport you played or something you did? What does that look like for you?
Yeah, so I did play sports all through high school. I think that team sports are important. They teach you discipline. They teach you how to play with others. They teach you, that competitive kind of thing that either runs in your blood or it maybe ignites it if you are in that environment. And so I am competitive, and so that doesn't hurt in this business. Mostly competitive with myself, as opposed to other people. But yeah, and I have just really a great relationship with my mom in particular. So just that ability to talk and I didn't have to keep stuff in. So, it's a balance. The skills that make for a great loan officer is the balance between head and heart. I bring so many people into the business. I love that. That's like my passion. But I can sense pretty early on, if they're all head, meaning they just got the steps, but they don't have the heart, like they're not going to make it, not at least in my world, because that is a big part of how we approach business, how we care for our clients. It's not just one or the other. You can't just be all heart. Like, you got to have the tactical part of how we do home loans and how we help people achieve their goals. So head and heart is really the secret.
That is one of the best analogies I've ever heard, because it's true. You can't, just because you can do figures and have the data, it's not enough, right? I think as you've had to grow, look how much volume you're doing now. You had to, okay, so you're competitive, you love people, you're a good communicator. Would you say those three things would be three of the top reasons why you've been able to ascend the way you have in this space?
Absolutely, yes. And I think too, there was a pivotal part. So I've been doing this for 24 years, all in Arizona. And as you know, in 2008, Steve, the whole world changed with regard to real estate lending, certainly here in Arizona. And so in 2008 was really a pivotal time in my career, where prior to that, I had done well and I felt like, I was really in my space. At that point, I didn't have a team around me at all. I had me and a processor, and that was about it. And then in 2008, when really essentially home lending in Phoenix, Arizona kind of came to a halt, a screeching halt, FHA comes in and increases loan limits to try to get some low down payment type of financing going, appraisal issues and PMI and all of that was just that point in time. And there was really a shift that occurred that led me to where I am today. And that was, there was something inside of me that said, oh my gosh, there's so many people out there, and my past clients or my business partners and real estate agents, they don't have hope. There's like, lending can't get done. And even though there wasn't a lot of lending, there was still something. So what I started to do was partner with title companies and go out and just start to talk to realtors and give them what could be done and educate them on, okay, somebody's had a short seller foreclosure. It's not the end of the world. Here's how we're going to prepare this community to buy again. And that was really my passion, and that's what kind of started to take me into teaching CE classes to the real estate community, and just getting in front of realtors and educating and sharing hope and inspiration. And that was pivotal for me, because that was also the time where I hired my first partner, team admin, just kind of assistant, and then started to grow a team around me, because I realized too that I can't do it all. I mean,
Right.
I just can't, and I have specific things that I'm really good at, and then I have things that I'm not so good at. And so I started to build a team over, that last, whatever that is now, 12 years, I guess, of people that had head and heart, that care as much as I do, and that are really good at certain parts of the process. And so now, there are 10 people on my team, and, we meet every day, and, we have the same vision and mission, and it's pretty special.
It is extremely special. And let's think about this, right? For those folks watching this, your entire growth model was born out of the worst market in America at one of the darkest times in lending. So always there's opportunity in adversity.
Absolutely.
So you go through, you do your 6 months, you stay there. How did you get from there to your '08 group? And was it always Cornerstone the whole time? Did you have a mentor? Give me the pathway in your career from that 6 month stint where you said, okay, I'm not in law school, I'm doing this, to the #1 loan officer in Cornerstone across the U.S. What does that look like?
So I was at Suburban Mortgage. That's the company I started at, Suburban Mortgage. Dave Snyder hired me, and I was there for 14 years. So they're a local mortgage banker. Yeah, that goes back to my parents and not moving around, right? So, and it was a great journey. I got my feet underneath me, and started and really learned the business and did well. And in 2010, I made a move to Cherry Creek Mortgage, and a bigger platform. Things were changing in the industry, so becoming a seller servicer and all that stuff was important.
Did you follow someone, or were you recruited by a mentor? How did you get to Cherry? Well, why Cherry Creek?
Yeah, I just knew people and I knew it was time for me to go. And again, there's nothing wrong with Suburban. They're great people. I'm still friends with them today. But I think sometimes just that going helps you grow and gives you a different perspective. And it was time for me to do that. And so I was at Cherry Creek for 7 years, and it was the same type of thing. After 7 years, I really needed to go and grow again. And so that led me to Cornerstone. And I actually knew the leadership from Cornerstone from a coaching program that I had been in 2010 and 2011. And I just appreciated them. I could observe them from afar. And so not in a recruiting type of style, but just as people. And I liked what they were doing and who they were as people. So that's kind of how I got here.
Well, that's your head and your heart telling you where to go. So you're a Lone Ranger, hustling loan officer. 2008 comes, everything goes in the tank. Then you decide to build the team. Were you also in coaching by then, or did you start coaching after you started to build a team?
I started coaching in 2010. So that was really, I coached with Building Champions for a couple of years. And then I was introduced to the core in about 2000, I guess 13, 14, maybe 13. And the core was very instrumental in just helping me understand how to build a lending team. And so the roles and how the loans can move through this, and how we can create a great client experience as well as efficiency by having the right people on the bus. And so I'm still in coaching today. I'm actually a core coach myself, and I need coaching, but I'm broken, so it helps me to keep focused and to be really just with a group of people that are doing this business nationwide on, a very high level. So it's good.
I think it's interesting. I've been in this personal development space my whole life, and everybody as they ascend realizes the more they know they need to know, and they've got to surround themselves with better, smarter people all the time to keep learning. Because in this business, look at how different it is now from what you were doing even 5 years ago, right? Oh, yeah. And back to, I mean, it's you're not evolving. in the real estate space, it's very hard to keep up, maintain, or grow at all. So congratulations. All right. So now think about a tactic here. I know you coach people, you mentor, you got a large team, an office. What tactically are you doing now as a loan officer and your team doing that you believe gives you a competitive advantage or sets you apart? Is it a certain amount of calls in the morning? What's a tactic you guys know that works to help you be successful in what you're doing in your business?
We leverage digital media. So we are very big into video, and that was a game changer for my entire business and how we communicate and educate not only our community, but the real estate community as well as our clients. So I would say video has been really a defining tactic that I implemented in January 2014.
And now you are humbly the largest organic viewed lender in all of your Cornerstone network. And this is important. Let's get a little deeper here. I hear this all the time, right? Oh, Kelly's beautiful. It's easy for her to do video. She's great on camera. But the truth is, as you know, when you watch yourself, you're like, oh my gosh, why is my forehead so shiny? What is the deal? You know, you always have stuff, right? How did you just get out of your own way there and go, I'm good? Because you produce amazing content, a ton of it consistently. How did you just decide I'm going to do it, get out of my own way, not judge myself on every little thing and just go? What was the process like for that?
Yeah, it's a great question. So it wasn't easy, honestly. For whatever reason in 2013, this is before YouTube, this is before video, there was something, I call it, it's one of those he planted something in my head. And I had this thought that I should do video. It would be a great way to educate, because education really is the essence of who I am. Like, I love to just educate and share and break down barriers, and it doesn't have to be this confusing or crazy. So in 2013, got with my marketing gal, Shay, and I'm like, okay, we are going to do video. We're going to change the world. And so we started to do video. And I think that year I shot 12 videos for the whole year, mind you. Never sent one out. Not one of those were sent out. I was mortified. I literally was mortified. I do not like the way I sound. I did not like the way I looked. I do this funny thing with my eye. I had no idea I did that. I talk with my hands. I'm very animated. I mean, just, the person I thought I was to the person I saw on video, I wouldn't even send that stuff to my mom, really. It was that awful. I tried teleprompter, I tried green screen, I did it all. And, but there was just this gnawing. This is how kind of God works in me, is there's a gnawing, like there's just this thing that keeps coming back and I can't get rid of it. So in January 2014, I sat down with Shay, my marketing guru, and I'm like, okay, Shay, we've got to do video. We've got to get this done. And she looked at me, she's like, we don't have to do anything. You need to get out of your own way. And I was like, I knew it was me, And that was kind of it. That was the unraveling of the mindset. It was where I realized that I was so focused on me that I was not doing what I wanted to do, which was share information. And so that switch, it really was like turning a light bulb, on and off. That flipped my switch to stop being critical about myself. And really, was that good content? Am I putting out something somebody giving me 30 seconds or 2 minutes of their life can take value from? So once I made that shift, then it became easier. So January 2014, we started to send out a video every week, 50 weeks out of the year, to the real estate community with the sole purpose of educating and sharing information. And so that's now 6 years ago. But it wasn't pretty. And what you see today wasn't what it was in January 2014. And we made a lot of mistakes. And I just got better a little bit every day, every year, by continuing to do it, because it wasn't about me anymore. I stopped making it about me. And do I still love myself on video? No, I don't, right? But am I so passionate about sharing information that is important to our lives, our community, the home buying process? Yeah, I am. So I just did it and I still do it.
That is such a great journey you just took us on, right? Because you hit on the head. Your first video, I can guarantee you, was the worst one you did. And every one you did after that was a little better, but still sucky. Now, after 6 months, you're like, okay, I'm feeling better. But now here you are in your 6th year, it's like you can walk in, bam, you've got it down. It's like anything else. When you start, you're never good at anything you start. But but here's what I love about you. Your discipline and your passion for helping others, had you just persevere through what would have been probably 6 to 9 months of, I can't believe I put that out there. Oh my gosh. To now all of a sudden, hey, I love your videos. Hey, that was great. Now you're like, oh, you did? Great. And now here you are, really, I would say the oracle of video in this space, because you've been consistent, persistent, with value, and it continues to get better and improve, which is awesome. It's a great lesson for folks out there. All right, that's your tactic. Good. I love that. And you've proven it. And by the way, if you're not, what's your YouTube channel? Tell guys, if you're not watching her on YouTube, you get a nugget every week if you pay attention. Where do they go
Just
to
my
see?
name, Kelly Zitlow.
That's it. Easy to do.
Yeah.
Okay. Strategically, right? Was starting a team the biggest strategy change you've made? Was it actually video, then going to content pieces? What's a strategy you recommend to folks in this space today that you know works, as proven a model for you?
Well, I think it's a few different things. One, being very proactive and disciplined with your time. Two, having a team around you allows you to do that. So, there's a certain part of the process. This is my space. This is what I do really well. And then I hire people that want to be part of something bigger than themselves, that have a passion for serving, that are better at things than I am. And so that entire process is really what sets us apart. I like to say that when you work with us, you're not a number. You really are a person with a family and hopes and dreams, and we want to know that. And our goal is to get you to the finish line with this part of the home buying process. So
that's so good. And it's true. And I think that has to be, again, that's your heart part talking, that it has to be in your heart, or because you can't fake that, and the truth is, I always say this, there's no such thing as time management. Time goes whether you do what you do or not. There's only self-management. And when you get a team in place, you can self-manage better. And let's get into this a little bit. A beautiful bride, a mom of 2, running a multi-million-dollar business. How did you find a way to have it all? Was it self-management and discipline? Is that the key to trying to get what you've achieved yourself?
I don't know that there's having it all is even a thing. Like, what does that mean, right? I am blessed to have a very, very supportive partner and spouse. So that has really made me be able to, not have to worry about getting Jack off the bus. Like, Dan could do that, and he did that. And so I didn't have that guilt of, there are some people that have to do that because they don't have a partner, in life. And so I would say, just out of the gate, I'm very blessed and grateful to have been married now for, 25, 26 years. So almost the whole time I've been in, certainly more than the whole time I've been in mortgage lending. But so I have a great family. I have very close-knit family outside of my husband and 2 sons. And so I have that sounding board, and I'm not perfect, gosh, I make mistakes all the time. And sometimes I'm mean and ugly. I mean, not often. I pray for patience and guidance and gratitude. But I think that was just, a big part of it. And there were always non-negotiables when my boys were little. They're 17 and 22 now. So, their needing me is certainly less than it was when they were little. At least they need me different now.
Yeah.
But when they were little, they were just non-negotiables. My bottom line was, I was going to be at every single game. I was going to be at every single concert or recital or every important moment. And that was the most important. That was the non-negotiable. And I got there and always was there with my whole heart. And I just decided that's all it was. I just made a decision. That was it. I was going to do that.
You lived consciously And the truth is, we don't do heart transplants in this business. There's surgery. No one's going to die. You take your phone, leave it in the car, and go watch your son play an hour baseball game. But we do this to ourselves. Real estate's rife with divorce and family challenges, etc., because we don't separate what's urgent from what's important. Being at a baseball game, so he sees you there, not on your phone, focused for an hour, is not going to hurt your business one bit. I used to say to clients, hey, I can't talk for the next couple hours. My son plays at 5. If it's really important, I can call you afterwards or tomorrow morning. You know what they say 98% of the time? Oh, yeah, go do that, and we'll talk to me tomorrow. We do it to ourselves, and we have to be available all the time. It's not true. So I think that's important. You made this decision. You were conscious, and then it was a non-negotiable. If you weren't, that wasn't something you were going to miss. So good for you.
Really,
all right.
Steve, I'm not that important, right? Like at the end of the day, you know, I mean, like you said, it's not heart surgery. We're not doing brain surgery today when it comes to home lending. It can wait. So.
I love it. All right, go back now for me. Go back to young 23 Kelly. If you were going to give her advice, right, what one thing do you wish you learned faster in your career that would have helped you become even better faster than you are today? What would you give that advice to do this one thing? Would it be video? Would it be build a team? What in your mind comes up? You say, if I wish we would have done this faster, I could have got here faster.
I think just believing in myself. You know, I think that young women in particular, they start to question whatever and why ever, you know. And so I have always had a fire inside of me, even when I was little. Like there's always been this burning flame. And I think when I was younger, certainly got in my teens and my 20s, I kind of started to kind of push that flame, wanted to put the fire out, just, you know, didn't want to, wasn't sure, didn't want to rock the boat. And it was so interesting, like it never died, it just got bigger. And as I started to mature and I started to realize, you know, like I can do just about anything except for algebra. I can't do algebra, but really outside of algebra, I can do anything.
Applies to anything.
Yeah, and so it was just that, and I think that's in part maturity. So I would tell the 23-year-old Kelly, you got this. You really have this. Even though you're not sure, follow your instincts. They're good. You got this. Go for it.
Isn't it funny how being your authentic self is the journey, right? The thing that you look back and you know, we try to get along, we try to fit in, and then you realize none of that matters. I always say it's the same amount of people will like you as not like you, regardless of what you do. Respecting you is your choice. If you just be who you are, more people will respect you. Same amount of people will like you, not like you, but more people will respect you. Okay. Tactically here again, real quick, I want you to give people 2 or 3 things. If they wanted to start a video program, what would be the 2 or 3 things you say you have to do first? I mean, not everybody can hire a Shay, right? So they just want to start. They always, people go, oh, I have to buy a studio. I don't know, just take your phone out. Let's start there. What would you recommend? First 2 to 3 things you'd say.
So first, I have a handout that I share when I teach a class on how to get started in video that I'm more than welcome to share with you. You can share with your audience. So it's on my website, but I'll send you the link. So there's a couple things. The first thing that is the most important is consistency. It's like signing up to go to the gym. You can't go once and think you're going to be, you know, fit. So it's the same thing with video. So every Wednesday at 11 o'clock, it's in my calendar, and somebody on my team comes in, gives me a countdown, 10 minutes till 11. Kelly, you have 10 minutes, right? They set up the lights in my office. It's not a big production. It's really not. I use an iPad. And, but lighting is very key. So I would say tactically, having it in your calendar, making sure you have great lighting is super, super important. And then not overthinking it. You know, so don't be self-critical. Yeah, you do that thing with your eye or whatever. Yeah, you have a shiny forehead. So just put some powder on and move on, like deal with it. So that's it. I mean, really, but consistency is the key. And I empower somebody in my world to make sure that I don't blow this off. And so, Shay has been such a huge part of that consistency, because she just doesn't take my, like, I'll be like, oh, I got this, I got that. She's like, yeah, well, you have 10 minutes. So wrap it up, let's go. And then she has me for a whole hour. And in that hour, I will shoot anywhere from 3 to 6 videos. So we shoot ahead of the curve so I can be efficient with my time. And then those go in the can, and then she will start to edit those and tee those up for distribution in the coming weeks. So creating efficiency around it is the key, because I think that a lot of people are like, oh, I don't have time. Well, you do. You can carve out 1 hour a week and be efficient with it. The second thing is content. People are always asking me, I don't know what to talk about. I just keep a running list on my phone of things. Either somebody said something to me that I was like, oh, people should really know about that, or something happened, in a transaction, or there's major changes, because of a pandemic. And so how do you buy a house if you're self-employed? Like, those are the types of things and content that I just keep a running log on. And that's what I discuss in my videos.
So good. And it's funny because I always say this business isn't difficult, but it's hard. And it's hard because you have to do the same thing consistently over and over and over to get to sustained excellence. All right, let's go big picture here. And I'm not going to give it away, but I know what I want the answer to be. What are we talking about 10 years from now, you and me? We sit down, we go get a glass of wine. Are you running all digital media for Cornerstone? Are Gary Vaynerchuk in this space for video? What is Kelly Zitlow doing 10 years from now, vision-wise? If you could just put it out there, what is it?
Yeah, I'd say somewhere between the two, right? So really, my dream and my hope is to be able to inspire, educate, and really have people find that authentic self, their authentic talking, speaking voice, and being able to lean into this digital media space in their own way and not become somebody that they're not while they're doing that. That's really been a big part of this journey. So I feel a calling to share that, to elevate that, to help people really get their arms around it and incorporate it into their businesses and life.
Well, I have news for you, my dear. If you put it out there like you did, the universe aspires to assist people like yourself. And my instinct is you could be bigger than both of those things I mentioned. But, look, I'm so happy to have you as a partner. Love the way you do your business, both personally and professionally. Anything you want to leave our audience with that you want to think about, that you want to leave them with as a takeaway?
No, I think really just the summary of the head and the heart. I think sometimes, especially right now, it's so chaotic. I think that, if you're a realtor, there's limited inventory and you're dealing with those challenges. And if you're a lender, interest rates are at an all-time low. So trying to balance that refi and purchase segments of business. So it's just coming at us in this industry so fast and so hard. So I would say take time to breathe. And really don't lose your heart, because your head is being so tapped and pushing so hard right now. So take a step back, whatever that is, if that's meditation or running or praying or just time with coffee and journaling. I think now more than ever, we've got to make sure that we're focused on that one piece of life right now that seems to be, ignored, if you will. So head and heart. That's the secret.
So good. The one and only authentic Miss Kelly Zitlow. Thank you so much. Love talking to you. Enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thanks for having me, Steve.